Oh my god, we actually have some kind of really even bigger news going on today. We've had some pretty big news when it comes to like the PlayStation 5 botting kind of seemingly ending, which I think is pretty high up there in the whole tier list of news. But this one, although you guys may not think it is, I personally think it's probably one of the craziest stories now where we're now seeing really big, like, basically employees of these really big gaming companies now getting arrested because they're breaking the law, using insider trading and trying their best to make a bajillion different dollars. And this is actually like a really big deal. Now, we don't usually see too many embargoes or NDAs broken as time goes on, but one of the biggest things to kind of go and note is that this is insane. Like, we don't usually see like, a God of War releasing in big leaks and like a Cory Barlog being like, bro, like I'm going to buy all the stock and short the market. I'm going to be like a wolf of Wall Street. No, it's usually pretty tame and people usually like to keep their jobs. But sometimes we get employees working on certain projects under NDAs or other various things. I guess that sometimes gets a little bit too good for comfort. So this is, well, the story now how people are now being arrested for insider gaming trading. So the gaming community is kind of scary to say the least. And like, don't break NDAs. Just saying. So I just want to make sure you guys are subscribed before we dive in this video. Make sure you guys are subscribed for the PS5, Xbox, or $500 cash giveaway. Link down below. Just click the sub button. Super easy. You guys want the bonus entries too for those giveaways, Twitter and Twitch stream down below for those follows. We have the Target links if you guys want to check your stores, and Amazon links because there should be, I think, a confirmed drop going on tomorrow. So make sure you guys are using those links, signing up and registering, and let's dive into the video itself. So this is a pretty big news break. This is for two former Square Enix employees have now been arrested on suspicion now of insider trading. Now, if you guys don't necessarily know what insider trading is, for some odd reason, it's basically like you have a stock market, and then like the next week, there's going to be a huge game announced. There's going to be a huge movie announced. Or like, let's say Sony, you're going to be announcing the PlayStation 5 Pro. So then you would think the stock's going to go up because everyone's excited. People are going to buy it. The revenue should be going good. It's good news. Or let's say you're Coca-Cola, and you just had record profits, and you just got that like email, and they're going to announce it in like 5 days, and like they're prepping up for this big, talking about like their investors, and you just know because they churned a lot of money, they made a lot of money, the price is going to go up. And basically, you would either go buy stock and then sell the stock when it goes up because it's almost a guaranteed bet, or as well, you do something called like a leverage trade where you're like, without a doubt, this is going up. I'm going to put $50,000 on like a 10x leverage, and you can make $100,000 overnight, especially if you guys know this news is coming out soon. So that's a big thing, and basically what happened here, where basically the pair are believed to have then been trading shares before a brand new Dragon Quest game was announced. And as you guys know, Square Enix is involved in a lot of various pretty big IPs, and it's a pretty big company nonetheless. So two former employees of Square Enix have now been arrested in Tokyo under suspicion of potential insider trading. Japanese tech site Automaton reports that Tazuki Suzuki and Fukuyaki Suzuki were arrested for acquiring stock in Japanese developer Aiming shortly before it was announced that it was working on a brand new Dragon Quest game. So basically, these two folks out here were arrested, as in like they literally had the police themselves show up and take them out. So the two reportedly purchased around $47 million or $336,300 of stock in Aiming, just before it was publicly confirmed that it was developing mobile title Dragon Quest Tack. Now, this kind of makes sense in terms of why they do it. It's just really illegal. It's kind of like if Amazon's going to be buying, like, let's say, a huge gaming company, or like, they were going to buy Twitch. If Twitch was public and someone put in like $1 million on Twitch because they knew that smaller stock was going to go good, it makes sense. Now, the stock itself may not necessarily move Square Enix too much because it's a really big entity with a lot of liquidity and all that put together. But one of the bigger things is you have a smaller thing. No matter what, people are going to see this announcement. They may have never heard of Aiming, but they may know, like, hey, I know Square Enix. I've invested in Square Enix. Oh, Dragon Quest Tack? Oh, I know of Dragon Quest. Those games do usually well. Oh, it's a mobile title? Oh, it's going to have a lot of microtransactions and gacha. That probably means it's going to make a lot of money. Okay, let's go buy some stocks. That's kind of the mindset for it. Because if you have like a big publisher, it's kind of like you just get a really good contract. You basically know as long as you don't mess up the contract somehow, that basically means that your game and your industry and everything should be good. Like, it should at the end of the day be a good thing. So this is big. It's highly illegal though. Even in Japan and America, it's really illegal to have this insider trading tech because if you just know what the public doesn't, like in theory, you should be being paid well enough to make sure this doesn't happen, but some people get greedy. So by purchasing the stock before the announcement, the belief is that the pair may have knowingly now used insider information in order to later sell the stock again when the value increased. So, following the arrest, Square Enix made a statement confirming, though, that the pair were former employees and stating that it was working literally with the police themselves to go and work on the investigation. Today, some media outlets reported that the former employees of Square Enix were under investigation for suspected insider trading. The statement reads, "We have been fully cooperating with requests from the Securities and Exchange Surveillance Commission as the investigation by the Tokyo District Public Prosecutor's Office is underway. We will continue to fully cooperate with the investigation too. We deeply regret the great concern this has caused to all be concerned." This seems kind of weird wording. "We have dealt with this incident strictly, including internal disciplinary actions taken against the suspected employees." Now, like I said, this is kind of a big deal because this is like a decent bit of money. Now, could they invest it in other stocks and stuff? Yeah, the company can't stop you from doing that. But the one bigger issue is that they probably knew, or they had the deals, or they like maybe were in a boardroom meeting and they knew this was happening on. So that was kind of the easiest, clearest like scapegoat for them to slowly waddle on in and go from there. So I'm kind of curious on what you guys think. This has happened before. Like this is, I don't want to say it's too much of a common thing, but I think a lot of folks kind of see like, oh my God, I can make my $300,000 into $700,000 in like a few day period, or maybe even more if the stock really booms and you're on top of it. And if some folks are only making 30, 40, 50, 60, 70K depending, at the end of the day, that is a pretty good paycheck. Like at the end of the day, some folks are tempted to do it. Now, I'm kind of like, that's kind of a separate thing. I just always wish that someone has like higher up potential for insider data, that they would obviously be paid well enough and have an NDA and embargo for it. But one of the bigger struggles, I think, for a lot of this is that, well, apparently they weren't getting paid enough because they still put 47 million yen into the stock market over here for this for this stock itself. Now, this is kind of a big news too because I want to see what the aiming stock is like. Aiming stock. Let's do a quick little look-see doodle as we're doing this video because it's down 14% today. But yeah, you guys can kind of see why they did this. You know, these earlier things around November or so, give or take, and they definitely had a little bit of a spike going on, and then had a pretty big, huge crash right after. So if they were able to go get in, like let's say around this time, they could have almost doubled their money. Like if you would have sold on this peak at 454 and you bought in around like 300, you're not fully necessarily doubling, but I mean, you throw in 300K, you could be making $150,000, $200,000 depending on what you do with it. That's like a pretty, that's like some folks like 3 years, 4 years paychecks all on one side. So it makes sense of why it might be illegal, and it also makes sense of why they're kind of trying to prosecute these guys, because also Square Enix is a big entity. And you also don't want to have, like, if you're Square Enix as a company, you don't want future potential deals and future potential things being leaked. So this is a pretty big deal in the gaming sphere. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. As well, we also do have some more news coming out here for the Final Fantasy Crisis Core. You know, this game Square Enix talked to as well, where they actually have a chance to go and talk about all their specs and resolution. So if you guys are looking at the PS5, looking like a nice dandy, I think it's 4K, correct? 4K with 60 FPS potential. This is for the Crisis Core reunion. I wish we had more information on Final Fantasy 16. PS4 Pro is still running good. It's also seemingly confirmed then on the prior gens on PS4, Xbox One X, and Xbox One S. And as well, also apparently even on the Switch. Now, the Crisis Core game didn't necessarily look the cleanest and nicest as time goes on, but I'm really hyped up for the Final Fantasy VII Remake and Final Fantasy 16. But I'm sure there's a lot of niche folks that are out here that really want to play this and enjoy this. I'm probably one of those folks to myself. I'm getting a little excited. I hope it'll be a pretty good, fun experience nonetheless. So give me your thoughts and comments down below. I would love to go and hear them too. And as well, want to just hear about that. We also have a little bit of a sad news going on over here where Dead Island did have a small baby delay. Not the biggest or the biggest change, but they will be pushing that back to April 28th. 2023. So I'm assuming the game should be mostly good to go. If it's only a few week delay, it doesn't seem too bad, but just letting you guys know, I know some folks have been excited for that inside the community, myself as well. But they're going to have more information on December 6th, probably right before the Game of the Year awards, which is surprising they didn't just collab with that, but maybe just want a little extra attention on their own. But the game is looking good still, and I'm kind of hyping up for it, so hopefully it's going to turn out well. And last but not least, the Legacy of Kain apparently is also getting a good fan basically response, so you might actually say I have a little bit more likeliness of this game actually coming out, and a lot of folks had this niche fun experience with this back in the day for Legacy of Kain. So I never played it myself. Let me know if you guys did back in the day. As well, if you guys are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed with the notifications on. As well, for the brand new PlayStation 5 giveaway, we have the $500 Xbox and Twitter and Twitch stream down below. We also have all the YouTube, Twitter, Amazon, everything, all that good stuff. And I appreciate you guys all so much for watching. We'll have a bunch more videos all throughout these next few days, so be on the lookout tomorrow.